Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 16th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been questioning themselves on whether or not Disney and Lucasfilm will be able to handle the franchise moving forward throughout this entire decade. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Episode 9 is that this movie was a very tough production for Disney and Lucasfilm, by far the most difficult Star Wars film out of all 5 Star Wars movies that they developed ever since, of course, George Lucas handed the baton over to Kathleen Kennedy when she took over Lucasfilm, and of course when Disney took over overall. Now, when we look at what Kathleen Kennedy has done to the sequel trilogy, we do know that a lot of fans have had a lot of issues with how she really, approved many ideas by Rian Johnson for The Last Jedi, and of course, how she was also involved in initiating many of the reshoots and the rewrites for The Rise of Skywalker that led to a series of deleted scenes and more. Now, when you look at Kathleen Kennedy as a leader, right? We do know that she has poor leadership skills. There's no denying that. We need somebody else who's going to be more in tune with the Star Wars lore, the Star Wars material, where they can also handle the business end on the other side here. That's the best way to go about doing things. So, like I say, we do know that Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, really is a major player in all of this as well. And what's really intriguing is, of course, is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe and their new trilogy of films as well. Now, one of the big plans by Lucasfilm is to introduce over 10 years worth of Star Wars material that will honor and respect Star Wars Legends lore and material. However, during and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, many interviews were given to actors and creators of the film, including Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, where he was questioned about the production of the film. Now, it's noted that Bob Iger was eventually questioned about Kathleen Kennedy and her leadership, where Bob Iger went on to reveal that Kathleen Kennedy and himself have made major mistakes, and that part of those mistakes came from Kathleen Kennedy having creative differences with many of the creators of these films. Now, it's noted that Bob Iger stated that Kathleen Kennedy pressured the cast and the crew to speed up the process for The Rise of Skywalker to get it out on time, and that Kathleen Kennedy didn't want to split the film into 2 parts, and so they shot the film as one. When questioned about the return of Palpatine, Iger went on to reveal that this was all Kathleen Kennedy's idea to find a way to bring in a proper villain that would attract common moviegoers and casual fans of the Star Wars universe. Bob Iger went on to say that Kathleen initially had the plan to let the actors improvise their own lines of dialogue. However, later on, Kathleen decided that it was best to take that approach away from the film and to focus on the script, and that she was actually creatively involved in with JJ. Iger lastly states that it was Kennedy's idea to create a break with Star Wars movies, to no longer have a Star Wars film every single year, and that Bob was convinced that this was the best way to go for fans. So, the thing about Kathleen Kennedy that I think is going to be quite the most annoying for some fans out there is the fact that she was a major player in creating this Star Wars hiatus. Basically, this small break between The Rise of Skywalker and these new Star Wars films to arrive in the near future. Now, like I say, when you look at everything related to what Kathleen Kennedy has done to Star Wars as a brand, we really do need fixing. Some of you guys out there may very well disagree with me on that, but there's no doubt about it that the franchise does need fixing. It does need to get a facelift, and that's exactly what the new Star Wars universe is going to do, because Kathleen Kennedy will no longer be creatively involved, which is one thing to look forward to, and not just that, George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, 3 major players in, of course, the new Star Wars universe, will be bringing it into a different direction. We'll be evolving the franchise, if you will. So, the thing about Palpatine, right? The fact that this was all Kathleen Kennedy's idea, and how it kind of creates a lot of continuity problems in Return of the Jedi. How it kind of interferes with Anakin's sacrifice. One would argue about that, right? So, I don't know where you guys stand on Palpatine's return in The Rise of Skywalker, on if you guys thought it was a good or a bad idea. I actually think that, Palpatine being in the movie was indeed a selling point. It was one of the main reasons as to why a lot of fans went to go ahead and see this Star Wars film, but at the same exact time, a lot of fans knew exactly what was going on. This was Disney being Disney, or Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy just being herself, by trying to find ways to get fans into the theater seats. Not just that, but Kathleen Kennedy was the one responsible for actually titling it The Rise of Skywalker in order to attract fans, thinking that it would have something to do with either Luke Skywalker or Anakin Skywalker. And so you can see how Kathleen, really isn't the right choice really for Star Wars as a leader, right? Now, like I said, guys, I would like to hear what each and every one of you have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.